Good morning, and I'm glad you're here with us today. So my name's Lucia Ferrara. I'm Director of Hospitality here at the Precious Blood Renewal Center, and I want to share with you a recipe I found a long time ago, and I don't make it that often, but this summer I've made it more than I have before, and it's just kind of a nice, refreshing dessert, and it's a key lime cake. Super easy, super tasty, and very moist. So here we go. Let me tell you what the ingredients are. First of all, you have to set your oven at 350. So while you're gathering your ingredients, you can preheat your oven. Okay. So for the cake, you need 1 box of a lemon cake mix. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. All right. Then we have 1 3-ounce package of lime Jello. And what that does, it gives it a little bit of flavor, but it gives it its color, first and foremost, okay? Then you're going to put 3/4 cup of orange juice. And you're going to pour it in here. Now look at that pretty green color. See? Okay. Then you're going to put 1 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Okay. 1 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. And 4 eggs. So we're going to put eggs in here. Like I said, this is super easy. And while we're letting our wonderful, and it's a 3-layer cake, mind you. So it's going to be layered, and then we're going to put a sour cream frosting in the middle, or layered in between it. Now, I'm tweaking the recipe just a little bit. I get these natural oils that are used for cooking, and so you don't have to put this in there. I choose to put some in there. I just put maybe just a few little drops, or maybe a capful of the key lime natural oil flavoring here in my batter. Okay, we're going to use the actual key limes when we do the cream cheese frosting. So let's just beat this all together. Okay, now we've done that. Now we're going to pour our batter into our pans here. So you're going to want to, I don't measure, so we're just going to kind of eyeball it, but you want to kind of make them even, pouring the batter in your pans, and make sure that you spray them with the like an oil or something so it doesn't stick. If you don't have oil, do butter with some flour in it. Okay? So we're going to start with this one. I'm going to see how much I can get in there. Okay, and then I'll even them out as I go. If one needs a little bit more. Okay. We want to get all of that in here. And if you were here with me right now, you could probably smell the key lime. That flavoring, just a tad bit, goes a long way. All right. And such a pretty color at that. So it makes a real pretty spring cakes, summer cake, you want to bring it potlucks or picnics, okay? Those look pretty even to me. So we're going to put this in the preheated oven at 350 for about 15 minutes, give or take, depending on the temperature of your oven. Okay, so here we go. All right, so our cake batter is in the oven baking, and so while that is baking, we are going to prepare our cream cheese frosting. So what I have, I already put 4 cups of confectioner sugar in my bowl, so that's one thing. Then I'm going to take cream cheese, and we're going to put the whole block of cream cheese in there. Okay, and that is a 8-ounce block of cream cheese that's going to go in here. Then we're going to put a 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick of butter. Yes, this is very creamy, very tasty. Okay. Then for the flavoring, what we're going to add is 3 tablespoons of fresh lime juice. Now, because this is a key lime cake, I bought key limes. Now, if your market doesn't have key limes, a lime, just a regular lime, will do, okay? So, you can do that. So I'm just going to slice these in half, and then we will put it in here. Now, these little key limes are small, but I tell you what, when you squeeze this one, like about a half of it, depending on how big it is, it's about 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of key limes for the flavor, because as you could tell, it doesn't, I mean, it squeezes it out, but it's a little bit. So, but we still want that fresh juice. And you want to keep these because we're going to use them for the topping on the cake. Okay? Because we're going to use that to grate. Okay? I think I'm going to cut up 2 more here. Let's see. All right. These key limes are really smelling good. They're small, but they're mighty. So let's see. Okay, so we squeezed that many, and I'm just going to add a little bit, a little dab, like a dot, a drop of the key lime flavoring, natural flavoring here. Okay, so that is really all that goes into here. And if this, when you start mixing this together, if you think it needs a little more juice of the lime to thin it out, then we add it. If you think you put too much juice and it's real thin, then you add the confectioner sugar. Okay, so let's mix this up. Okay, now let me check the consistency. All right, this seems pretty good. So let me just taste it for flavoring. Very good. Okay, so our frosting is ready, and when the cakes come out, We're going to let them cool for about 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to frost our cake. All right, so our cake has cooled off, and I went ahead and put together the first 2 layers of the cake with the icing, and it can be a little tricky, so I wanted to go ahead and show you what that looks like here, and then we're going to flip this top on top, and then I'll show you how to frost the top of the cake. So this can be tricky, and that went well, and there's the top of the cake. So when we frost a cake, we take big lump of icing, and with your clean fingers, you're going to just scoop that right on top, because you're going to work with it as you go. And if you need more, then we can always add more, but you always add your icing to the middle of the cake. Now, usually with they call it like a icing spreader or something, so I'm going to use this little tool here, and you're just going to take it from the middle and you're going to push it out. Take it to the middle and push it out, and that way you can evenly spread the icing. Okay, I'm going to do that. And you don't want it to be too thick on top, but you also don't want it to be too thin. So that's why we're going to just keep working with it until we're done. Okay, now it looks like we're going to have to add more frosting, which is what I expected we needed to do. Now don't be surprised that sometimes the cakes are very delicate and they're going to crumble a little bit. So just be prepared for that. Okay, so we're going to push this out. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's your own masterpiece. Okay. You just have to be real patient and really gentle when doing this. I'm not a professional cake baker, but I did take a class at one point and learned how to decorate. But because I don't do it for a living and I don't do it every day, my skills, you lose skills if you don't practice. So what we're going to do here is even this all out. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to taste good. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to take the key limes that we used earlier, and we're going to grate on top. May take a couple of them just for it to look a little decorative there. Just gives it a little color. Okay, then I've sliced little limes into slices, and in the middle, I'm just going to make a little design. That. Nothing perfect. Okay. There we go. Voila. Here's your key lime cake. So I encourage you to go grab your neighbor, your friend, your brother, your sister, whoever, your spouse, and cut into it and enjoy it with a cup of coffee, cup of tea, but most importantly, with a friend. Because friends are very, very important. So I have a devotional that I read from time to time, and I wanted just to share with you a little bit of what I read the other day, and I thought, I think everyone needs to listen to this. So I'm going to share this with you. It's from Melanie Schenkel's book called Everyday Holy. And the title of this is, Hey, It's Me. And the verse associated with this story is from John 20, verse 16, which says, Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, Rabboni, which means teacher. Certain people in my life can call me on the phone, and after I say hello, they can respond with, Hey, it's me. And I know exactly who is on the other line. Their voices are as familiar to me as my own. I would know them anywhere because they are such a huge part of my life and that I recognize them instantly. You probably have the same kind of people in your life. On the third day after Jesus had been crucified, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been moved. She ran to get Peter and the other disciples and told them what she had seen. They all ran to the tomb to discover that it was indeed empty, with nothing but strips of linen lying where Jesus had been. The disciples went home after their discovery, but Mary Magdalene stayed outside the tomb crying until two angels appeared. Woman, why are you crying? And she responded, They have taken my Lord away. At this point, Jesus was standing there, but Mary didn't recognize him as he asked why she was crying and who she was looking for. John tells us, quote, thinking he was the gardener, she said, Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you put him, and I will get him. Then Jesus said to her, Mary. As soon as he spoke her name, she knew him instantly. How many times has she heard him say her name over the years? How many times since she had watched him be crucified had she longed to hear his voice one more time? She immediately knew that the impossible had happened, and that it was her Lord standing before her because she recognized his voice. The thing about knowing someone merely by the sound of their voice is that it signifies how close you are to that person and how often you talk. It's a sign of intimacy. And as I read the story of Mary Magdalene, I'm challenged to ask myself if I know the voice of my Lord as well as she did. Do I hear him speak to me? Do I hear him say my name? Do I hear him calling me to take a leap of faith? Do I invest in that relationship enough that his is one of the voices I immediately know when I hear it? Because that's the kind of relationship he wants to have with all of us. The kind of friendship where he can whisper our name and we immediately know that we are in the company of our Savior. So when you invite your friend over to have a piece of cake, to have that conversation, to have that cup of tea, I encourage you to invite our dear Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, to the table as well. And listen to hear his voice. Begin a friendship with him, a relationship with him. And so I leave you with that today. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the cake, and let's see what the inside of our cake looks like. So let me get a knife, cut the cake. Gonna plate it. All right, and there you have it. So, bon appetit, everybody. Until next time.